Record on this computer. Okay. And just the other thing, which, you know, probably a lot of us are using Zoom now. Please keep yourself muted. I see that all of you are right now. Even a little paper rustling can sound like a lot of noise if you're unmuted, not to mention dogs barking and etc. Until it's your turn to talk, and then you can unmute yourself. And yeah, I will be Zoom hosting this meeting, and I'm just hosting the first part. And then I'll be turning it over to Melissa. So I'm turning over the Poet Laureateship to the new one in this meeting as well. And does anyone, I guess, I don't know if there are any questions. I'll see it if you put your hand up at any time. And we have had some discussion about if you want to put the haiku you're reading, yours or another's, into the chat. It's not a perfect form. New people can't see the old chat, but it is something. So I'm going to start things off by saying just a little bit about haiku as an art form that is transmitted to us from Japan. And in fact, I'm going to start the chat. Let's see. I'm going to get it to everyone. Let me get this in there, and then I see that somebody had a question, but it's very quick. Learning from haiku. Oops. Sustained by, I didn't mean to press return, but that's what it's doing. And then I'll give you the author. The author is Mitsu Suzuki, who was the wife of the Zen master Shunryu Suzuki Roshi, where I trained. So I just thought I'd start us off with that. So there is a question, is that right? Someone's hand is up. Yeah, Kathy, you can unmute.
Not a question, but I want to say I'm delighted to see Michael Dillon Welsh here among our participants. He was our judge in the international category, and it's great to see your face. Hopefully we'll get back to a regular haiku festival, but thank you for joining us, and we want to take advantage of your offer of a workshop at some point too. So welcome to Ukiah virtually.
Thank you. Been there in person quite a few times, but it's nice to join you virtually today. And I'm glad there's at least an online gathering.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, Kathy. Yeah. Hello, Michael. Yeah. Melissa?
Roberta, I'd just like to point out that Vicki had a question.
Yeah, Vicki, please.
Yeah, I just was wondering, when it's our turn to read our haiku, are we supposed to read it twice?
Yes. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, every haiku you can read twice. And you are welcome to drop it in the chat. When I used it, every time I pressed return, it sent the chat message up. So anyway, you may have to do it that way. I'm not sure. But yeah, read when you read your haiku, please read slowly and twice. We will have 3 separate round robins, and you're invited to read 1 haiku in each round. And then we're going to have a couple of other readings of other haiku poets, which I think will be self-evident when it happens. So I just wanted to say a little bit about some recent things that I've learned about the haiku form, which in a way have helped me put a really fresh twist on haiku itself. This is because I work partly as an editor, and I'm editing for a Japanese author who's now translating haiku poetry. So haiku basically was developed in Japan, but from the Chinese forms, which Japan was, you know, the early part of its history was really importing the culture from China and then adapting it. So it took the 4-line poem that they called waka and made it 3 lines. And they've been doing this for more than 1,000 years, and it's still a very active art form in Japan, with haiku societies. At the peak, maybe you can say the peak of the haiku movement, which was the 17th century when Basho was around. It was a huge thing. There were haiku schools. People would live by or live with their haiku masters and develop it. There were contests. And the other cool thing that I really discovered is that haiku was so much a collaborative thing. People would get together and they would write linked haiku that are called renga. And there were all different sorts of gatherings and, you know, societies that that supported this. And that also the early haiku, when it was developed, it was meant to be humorous. So this has really helped me kind of lighten up my view of haiku. So I'm just going to read to you a little bit of some of these early classic haiku poems to give you a sense. This is Basho. It's a bit too chilly to be standing naked in this cold spring storm. It's a bit too chilly to be standing naked in this cold spring storm. And then to give you a little idea of some of their daily life in that era, in case you feel nostalgic for it. Time for summer robes. I've not yet picked out the lice that cling to them. Time for summer robes. I've not yet picked out the lice that cling to them. And then here's something that is maybe a little more classic haiku, you know, with a more grand setting of the scene. The months last night, moonless, 1,000-year-old cedar embraced by the storm. The months last night, moonless, 1,000-year-old cedar embraced by the storm. And then I just want to read you quickly a little bit by someone I discovered, a woman haiku master, which we don't know much about. She just lived a little bit after Basho, and she was known as Chio or Nun Chio. Rouged lips forgotten, clear spring water. Rouged lips forgotten, clear spring water. And then the morning glory. It has taken the well bucket. I must seek elsewhere for water. The morning glory. It has taken the well bucket. I must seek elsewhere for water. And then maybe just to finish, a couple by Busan, who again lived just a little after these people. Buying leeks and walking home under the bare trees. Buying leeks and walking home under the bare trees. Well, there's more. I could go on and on, but I think I'll stop there so we have time to hear everybody's haiku. So I'm going to turn the hosting of this meeting over to Melissa, who's here, Melissa Eleftherion Carr. She's the incoming Poet Laureate. And as you probably also know, she's head of the Ukiah Library, And she's got a family. She's an accomplished poet. She's published several chapbooks and I think one book. And I just am really thrilled to have both to have served as poet laureate during this strange but very fertile time, and to leave it in her hands because I know she's going to have a lot of energy for it. So thank you, Melissa. And please take it away. She'll be introducing the next part of what we do.
Thank you, Roberta. It's an honor to follow your leadership and all that you've been able to accomplish despite the restrictions around COVID-19 and otherwise. So it's been an honor to work with you, in various capacities that we've collaborated for the Diane reading and elsewise. So thank you. And thank you to members of the Poet Laureate Committee and the Haiku Fest Committee as well. I am very gracious and grateful to accept the honor. Welcome everyone again. I'm hopefully going to be able to follow in all the footsteps that have preceded mine. I want to give a little brief overview of the history of the Haiku Festival. It was begun in 2002, for those of you who aren't aware, by former Ukiah librarian Dori Anderson and her friend Susan Sparrow. It was at the bequest of and the idea of Dori that Susan created the Haiku Festival quite spontaneously, from what I understand, to celebrate Ukiah's unique palindrome. And it is currently in its 19th year. Wow. It's amazing what one mind can accomplish, is it not? It obviously has changed shape over the years, and I've been grateful to have been a part of the committee and the Haiku Fest for the last 7 years now. So it's really exciting to see all the different iterations and to know that we were able to put one on, albeit virtually. It's great to be with you all. And as we see today, the Haiku Festival continues to adapt and change shape, keeping always as its focus the pith, the vitality, the urgency of haiku, as we attempt to capture both life's bitter ephemerality and the joys of its gentle embrace. I would like to read one experimental haiku, if I may. It is this really cool site that I found. Well, I should say I found one of these haiku on a website from Science Magazine, and I'll put it in the chat. Where you can view interpretations of the periodic table in the haiku form. And I was pretty delighted to find it because I'm somewhat of a science nerd. So I just would like to read one of these. Hydrogen. Your single proton, fundamental, essential, water, life, star fuel. Hydrogen, your single proton, fundamental, essential, water, life, star fuel. And all of the poems on this that were created for this website are by Mary Song Lee. Mary Song Lee. All right, so without further ado, I would love for us to have enough time for everyone to participate in the round robin. So I'm just gonna go ahead and kick it off. As Roberta mentioned, we're asking everyone to please recite your poem twice and to read it slowly so everyone has a chance to absorb the detailed, all the intricacies that haiku brings us and the encapsulations of a moment. I'm also going to be using the gallery view to go around. So that'll just be from my gallery view perspective. So I will call on the next reader by going around. And we will take turns each reading one poem. And then we'll have a second round where we can each share a second poem and then a third. Lastly, I'd like to ask everyone to, in order to honor the communal aspect of haiku, I would like you all to please stick around to hear everyone's haiku. If you can please stick around until the end, if possible. And also, I want to invite you all, if you wish, to applaud or make some kind of revelatory noise to appreciate or show some kind of verbal or vocal appreciation for the haiku. Feel free to unmute yourself after the poem has been recited to give appreciation. So I'll pause for that as well. Because sometimes in these virtual readings, it can feel like you're speaking into the ether. So it's nice to have that participatory oral sensibility too. All right. Well, again, thank you all for being here. And while I don't know that you all want to participate, don't feel any pressure to do so. If I call on you, you can just say pass. And I would like to start with Vicki Harvey, please.
Thank you. It's great to be here. My first haiku is Illuminated Moon, hundreds of crows speaking, briskly walking. Illuminated moon, hundreds of crows speaking, briskly walking.
Good, good. Thank you.
Thank you. That feels, like a real allusion to the classical haiku poets. They wrote about crows a lot and about moons a lot. So appreciated that.
Thank you, Vicki. Next, Deborah Edwards, if you would like to go.
Hello. Tai Chi standing, darkened branches circle a hazy moon. Tai Chi standing, darkened branches circle a hazy moon.
Thank you, Deborah. Next, we'll hear from Armand Brent.
This is great. You don't know when you're going to be called on. All right, this is the first one. Summer passes. On the side of the dry creek, a tattered receipt. Summer passes. On the side of the dry creek, a tattered receipt.
Thank you. Great.
Thank you, Armand. Next, we'll hear from a person who has their name as jbmckay@mcn.org. So I take it that's your email address, but I don't know your name. But please introduce yourself.
Barbara McKay. It's Barbara McKay. I'm sorry. Oh, my haiku. Migrating whales, sounding so close to the shore, listen to their song. Migrating whales, sounding so close to the shore, listen to their song. Thank you.
I like that one. That made me think of Jane Reichhold, who I'm going to be talking about a little bit later.
Beautiful. Thank you, Barbara. Dan Barth, would you like to go next?
Yes. Hello, everybody. Great to see you. Pileated woodpecker, Taiwapiti bottom after solar eclipse. Pileated woodpecker, Taiwapiti bottom after solar eclipse.
I love that long word in the middle of a really tiny poem, pileated. Yeah, fun.
Good.
That's beautiful. Jonathan Bain, or Bain, I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name. Would you like to go next?
Sure. Thank you for pronouncing it correctly the first time. That's very rare. I hear a whisper, gazing at an ancient tree. The wind laps at me. I hear a whisper, gazing at an ancient tree. The wind laughs at me.
Yeah, that sense that nature is interacting with you is, I think, very part of the haiku sensibility. Thanks.
Thank you, Jonathan. Yvonne, would you like to go next?
All right. Flying north, two geese honking. Far below, 5th grade class massed. Playing dodgeball, what wild joy. Flying north, two geese honking. Far below, 5th grade class massed. Playing dodgeball, what wild joy.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Yvonne. Kathy Monroe, would you like to go next?
Okay. Morning after freeze, bright piles spews from garden hose, rattling ice spears. Morning after freeze, bright pile spews from garden hose, rattling ice spears.
Yeah, wonderful.
Beautiful. Thanks, Kathy. Paula Andov, would you like to go next?
Hi, first time with the Ukiah Haiku Festival. Glasses on. Rich darkness lies deep, still chilly, misty morning, close to God today. Rich darkness lies deep, still chilly, misty morning, close to God today.
And Paula, where do you live?
Ukiah.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good to meet you.
Glad to be here.
Thank you, Paula. That was beautiful. Mary Buckley, would you like to go next?
I'm opening up the present of this moment. Let's see what's inside. I'm opening up the present of this moment. Let's see what's inside. Sing a haiku, sing a haiku, sing a haiku. Sing a haiku, sing a haiku, sing a haiku. Sing a haiku, sing a haiku, sing a haiku. Sing a haiku, sing a haiku, sing a haiku. Disconnected heads, we can't sit with each other. We're meeting on Zoom. Disconnected heads, there's a cat on the table. Disconnected heads, we just have underpants on. We're meeting on Zoom. Sing a haiku, sing a haiku, sing a haiku. Sing a haiku, sing a haiku, sing a haiku. Sing a haiku, sing a haiku, sing a haiku. Sing a haiku, sing a haiku, sing a haiku. Sitting on the sand, watching ducks fly and float by. They don't read the news. Sitting on the sand, watching ducks fly and float by. They don't read the news. Sing a haiku, sing a haiku, sing a haiku. Sing a haiku, sing a haiku, sing a haiku. Sing a haiku, sing a haiku, sing a haiku. Sing a haiku, sing a haiku, sing a haiku. Fear moves in my chest. I breathe out when I breathe in. One breath at a time. Joy moves in my chest. I breathe out when I breathe in. One breath at a time. Sing a haiku, sing a haiku, sing a haiku. Sing a haiku, sing a haiku, sing a haiku. Sing a haiku, sing a haiku, sing a haiku. Sing a haiku, sing a haiku, sing a haiku.
Thank you, Mary. I'm wondering if that was the first time that song has been incorporated into a haiku festival. I'm sure that someone else will know and maybe fill us in and if they feel inclined to do that.
I'm pretty sure it hasn't. I just wrote it like last winter or fall.
No, I mean song generally, song.
I looked it up online and I didn't find anything quite like that. You know, there were a couple of, I don't know, possible close things, but no, I didn't find anything. I'd be interested to know if
I don't think we've ever had a song at the festival.
Why not?
There may not have been one in the festival, but there have been many haiku set to music over the years, in classical and popular ways. And at the annual Seebeck Haiku Getaway that I direct, one of the things we do in our talent shows, we have a bucket. People put their hand in and they pull out one haiku and they have to instantly sing it in like heavy metal style or country and western or whatever comes to mind. It's great fun.
Well, maybe we should do that next year.
But we have often had music in connection with Ukiah Haiku Festival, usually at the beginning and the end. So,
and I know I went over my allotted time, but that's all I got.
Thank you, Mary. Michael Rydell, would you like to go next?
Sure. I think Jonathan and I were in the same wavelength here. Happy Mockingbird, I keep giving you more to laugh at. Happy Mockingbird, I keep giving you more to laugh at.
I sure can relate to that, Michael.
Could I say something really quick? I hit the wrong button and accidentally left. I didn't mean to be rude. Also, if anybody actually said anything to me in the chat, it got erased when I came back in. So if if it's important or even if it isn't, go ahead and do it again. Sorry about that.
Okay, thanks, Mary. Thank you, Michael. Lisa Medley, would you like to go next?
Sure, thank you. Fragile miracles, white and pink cactus blossoms, only last a day. Fragile miracles, white and pink cactus blossoms, only last a day.
Beautiful, thank you. Michael Dylan Welch, would you like to go next?
Yes, thanks. Paste my poem in the chat too. Your shoe leans against mine. Winter seclusion. I think this is a pandemic poem. Your shoe leans against mine. Winter seclusion.
Thank you.
So it's so simple and it says so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Christine Rodriguez, would you like to go next?
I would, and I will type that into the chat as well. And I want to give a shout out to Melissa because I learned how to do haiku on the library's haiku walk before everything shut down. And this is actually a haiku I wrote on that walk. And I'm going micro for this one. Gray turrets of mud rise up, the inverse of the worm palace below. Gray turrets of mud rise up, the inverse of the worm palace below.
Nice symmetry there between the above and the below.
Yeah.
Thank you, Christine. That was awesome. Julia Lark, would you like to go next?
Hello. Sunlight on water, a long journey ends now, gleaming, shimmering. Sunlight on water, a long journey ends here, now, gleaming, shimmering.
Gave me the chills.
That was beautiful, Julia. Thank you.
Thank you.
David, would you like to go next?
Sure. For this first round, I'm reading a poem from a winner of a couple of years ago, also thinking about up and down like Christine's. Side street gutter, a rain-filled hubcap panning for stars. A side street gutter, a rain-filled hubcap panning for stars.
Yeah, that thing about, stars of the moon being reflected in the water, that's a real basic Zen image. Enjoy that.
Did you say the poet's name, David? Was that you or someone else who wrote that?
No, that was Scott Mason. He won in the 17th annual event.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, that was beautiful, David. I love that surprise at the end, as haiku almost always have that surprise at the end, and that one really got me. I love it.
Well, I've gone through the past ones, and it's one of my very favorites.
You just feel like you can scoop it right out of the out of the puddle. It's great. Allison Bingham, would you like to go next?
I didn't actually write one. I came for your presentation to become Poet Laureate and should just be excited about haiku with you guys. So I'm sorry.
Thank you for being here, Allison. We're happy to have you among us, even if you're just here to listen.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So beautiful. Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Of course. Okay, I think we've successfully
Melissa, am I included in the rounds?
Oh, I wasn't thinking that. We didn't discuss that part, Roberta, but
oh, I'm sorry.
But by all means, please.
Yeah, I am hoping to participate in the rounds. So I have an ongoing project of writing haiku about cats because cats seem naturally haiku-like. So here's one. Placing the face between twin paws, nap time again. Placing the face between twin paws, nap time again.
My cat loves it.
My cat, I call my cats Zoom cats because they always join me during Zoom. So
yeah,
very Zen-like, my cats.
Yeah, they are, aren't they?
I love that haiku. That was my favorite.
From one cat lover to another.
Yeah, I have to say, Roberta, you really captured the cat. At least my cats. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, shall we proceed with round 2? Everybody ready? Got your second haikus on deck? Vicki Harvey, would you like to go?
Yes. Okay. My burrowing owl with intense eyes stare, communication vague. My burrowing owl with intense eyes stare, communications vague.
Thank you.
Beautiful, thank you. Let's see. Well, Roberta, do you have a second one you'd like to read? Because you're now in my second gallery view person, or I can.
Okay, sure. I'll just take my place there. Thanks. Sharpening claws on a log, a doormat, a Turkish rug, no distinctions. Sharpening claws on a log, a doormat, a Turkish rug, no distinctions.
Oh.
I love the escalation. It's like worse. Oh my God.
enough said. To them, there's no distinction. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Roberta. Deborah Edwards, would you like to go next?
Morning darkness, thoughts of my dead dogs, sounds of the hoot owl. Morning darkness, thoughts of my dead dogs, sound of the hoot owl.
Beautiful. Thank you, Deborah. Armand, would you like to go next?
Okay. In the distance, blue smoke of a burn pile, end of winter. In the distance, blue smoke of a burn pile, end of winter.
Yeah, that appeals to the senses, Armand. I can see it and feel it.
Thank you, Dan.
And it's got that emotional charge of knowing what comes next, right? It's kind of like ending the comfortable season.
Fills me with anxiety, I'm sorry to say, because of fire season, but certainly appealed to my senses. Beautiful encapsulation of that. Barbara, would you like to go next?
Daffodils blooming, so yellow on this new day, sunlight in my eyes. Daffodils blooming, so yellow on this new day, sunlight in my eyes. Thank you.
Yeah, you've got several senses in there, color, touch, smell, really nice.
Thank you.
Beautiful, Barbara, thank you. Dan, would you like to go next? Dan Barth?
Sure, I'm ready. This is my entry in the About Ukiah category. Let's see what the judges think. Ukiah, a junky place with crappy bike paths. Ukiah, a junky place with crappy bike paths.
First place, Dan. First place.
All right, thank you.
Just don't submit it to the city council, huh?
Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, our Chamber of Commerce.
Oh boy, it just reminds me of biking along Gobi Street and that bisected line that runs all of Gobi and trying not to get hit by a car. Very powerful poem. Jonathan Bine, would you like to go next?
I think he needs
Jonathan, I think you're
unmute.
muted.
Yeah. Oh, still.
Sorry, it was on the chat. I thought I was unmuted. Regarding songs, I wanted to say that I'm extremely proud that one of my haikus is currently being set for a male chorus. And I've heard a rehearsal, and it was supposed to be recorded last week. And I'm looking forward to that. Maybe I can share that next year. Oh, my second. The sound of water on moss-covered stones in spring, the forest awakes. The sound of water On moss-covered stones in spring, the forest awakes.
Thank you, Jonathan, and congratulations. That's really exciting. Yvonne, would you like to go next?
Heart-touching moment, mind-tapping syllables, haiku epiphany. Heart-touching moments, mind-tapping syllables, haiku epiphany.
Thank you, Yvonne. Kathy Monroe, would you like to go next?
Okay. Inhaling deeply, dog's face deep in gopher hole, lilac in bloom. Inhaling deeply, dog's face deep in gopher hole, lilac in bloom.
Thank you, Kathy. Paula Andav, would you like to go next?
Your authentic self slurps up the yummy in life. Go forth, be silly. Your authentic self slurps up the yummy in life. Go forth, be silly.
Okay, if you insist,
Lovely.
I will.
Thank you, Paula. That was great. Michael Rydell, would you like to go next?
Yeah. Maybe this one follows that one. All right. Lazy spring day, even the whirligig gives up. Lazy spring day, even the whirligig gives up.
I love everyone's vivid portrayals of these moments. And I'm like wanting to write stuff down now, which is, I guess, the best way to celebrate haiku. Thank you, Michael. Lisa Medley, would you like to go next?
Sure, thank you. Quiet, ominous, dark sky and blustering winds. A storm is brewing. Quiet, ominous, dark sky and blustering winds. A storm is brewing.
That's great. Thank you, Lisa. Michael Dylan Welch.
Distant bird trill. A butterfly rearranges gnats in a sun shaft. Distant bird trill. Butterfly rearranges gnats in a sun shaft.
Really vivid visual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael. Christine, would you like to go next?
Got it posted in the chat. Mycelial fruits, tiny pleated umbrellas melting in the rain. Mycelial fruits, tiny pleated umbrellas melting in the rain.
Don't see it in the chat. Did you hit return?
Did I? Oh. There it is.
Beautiful. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you.
I'm a sucker for the word mycelial and also
I
for
know.
mycelia, so you got me with the first word.
Extra points.
Love it. Julia, would you like to go next?
Albatross soaring, waters rise, no island home, ocean waves boundless. Albatross soaring, waters rise, no island home, ocean waves boundless.
Beautiful. Thank you, Julia. David, would you like to go next?
Sure. Where's my picture? Swirling wisp of sky sculpture, new again and gone, a cloud of starlings. Swirling wisp of sky sculpture, new again and gone, a cloud of starlings.
Yeah, I like the contrast between this sculpture you think of as solid and these birds, you know, little birds flying around.
It also has a lot of dynamic energy to it because you're already imagining the swooping and moving in your memory. It kind of gives it motion, you know.
Yes, thank you. It also has alliteration, which is not typically done in haiku, but it really seemed to be appropriate for, you know, swirling wisps. So there it is.
So who wrote that one?
I wrote that one.
Nice.
It's beautiful, David. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mary Buckley, would you like to go next? And I have to ask, in the interest of time, I'm sorry to single you out, but in the interest of time, if you can try to condense it to 1 minute or.
Actually, that's easy because I don't have anything. That was it.
Okay.
Unless you want to hear it again, but no, I'm done. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. And sorry, I didn't mean to single you out. I just forgot to mention it earlier. It was my own mistake. Okay, thus concludes round 2. Haiku Electric Boogaloo. Shall we continue with round 3? I feel like I'm hosting a prize fight by saying that.
I'm sorry, but you didn't hear me laugh at your joke. That was hilarious.
Vicki, do you have another poem for us?
Yes, I do.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought round 3 we were going to choose one by other people. Did I miss that?
I think we were going to, yeah, let's talk about that. Just finishing a chat here. I think that we were going to have the 3 rounds of people reading their own stuff. And then I think just a few of you had haiku to bring in from other people, like you had from Jane Reichhold. So we maybe can do a quick assessment because it is almost 4. I can extend this meeting. I don't know if other people have deadlines, but since you know, this is the first time we've done it virtually. So, you know, maybe we should just figure out, we were going to do, I think, a short interval and allow a couple of these readings from previous haiku poets before we did the third round. Is that still something, you know, those of you who are on the committee, do you still feel okay with that, or what? And also, if other people are pressed for time, we should know that too.
When the committee met, I said that I would read some of the past, just 3 of the past winners, but I'm kind of feeling like we're maybe a little behind schedule, so maybe we should just continue with third round.
So I'll just do Jane's for my third round poems.
Okay.
I just want to make sure to get her in.
Okay. Is that good with everybody? Okay. All right. All right. Take it away, Melissa.
Okay, well, I will in turn hand it over to Vicki, who's going to read a third poem.
Okay, thank you. And my third haiku is The Suffocating Fog, Beautiful to Many, Blinding Others' Eyes. Suffocating fog, beautiful to many, blinding others' eyes.
True enough. Some love it, some hate it.
Beautiful. Thank you, Vicki. Roberta.
From land to land it travels, developing depth, my morning coffee. From land to land it travels, developing depth, my morning coffee.
Wonderful. And now I want to drink coffee. Thank you, Roberta. Deborah Edwards.
I'll pass. I just had 2.
Okay, thank you, Deborah. Armand.
Okay, just before I read this, I want to say congratulations to Roberta for your Poet Laureate tenure. And thank you for these very weird years interrupted by COVID, and congratulations to Melissa. The last one I have is long shadows from the picket fence point the way home. Long shadows from the picket fence point the way home.
Like it, it's evocative of a mood. Yeah.
It's very pictorial. It's like a photograph. I could see all of the hues of the fence, and it was, thank you. That was great. Barbara, would you like to go next?
Gift of daffodils shedding their petals on her grave, the silence of tears. Gift of daffodils shed their petals on her grave, the silence of tears. Thank you.
It's beautiful. Thank you, Barbara. Dan Barth, would you like to read
Yes, I'd like to talk about Jane Reichhold just a little bit and read a few of her haiku. So Jane was an internationally renowned haiku poet who we were fortunate enough that she lived nearby on the coast out near Wallala, and that she was willing to come over here for our festival at times, even though she hated the windy roads, and that she taught a great workshop one year about how to write haiku and how to teach haiku. I think we still have that linked on our Ukiah Haiku website. So anyway, she passed away several years ago, and her work, much of it is still available on her website that's still up, ahapoetry.com, and I'll type in that link in, or just that URL. So here are a few by Jane.
Dan, before you start, can I just say that Jane was also the judge for our international competitions.
Right, and that Michael then has
And Michael
taken
took him over.
Yeah. Rain, the river beginning on the roof. Rain, the river beginning on the roof. Wide beach, no room for angry feelings. Wide beach, no room for angry feelings. High tide, lapping the fire in a rock. High tide, lapping the fire in a rock. I'll just see if I can show you that one. I'm not sure how it'll show up there, but it's in her book called Naked Rock. So there's much, much more that could be read by Jane and talked about her. She was very inclusive, very encouraging, and just encouraged all of us to write the haiku that are yours to write and keep going, and write and separate the wheat from the chaff later, but write them when they come to you. So she was a great influence. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Dan. I went ahead and dropped a few links in the chat that are on the Ukiah Haiku Festival website. The first is a link to a podcast of Jane Reichhold's talk on Basho for the Commonwealth Club in San Francisco from 2009. And the second is a link to Jane's site, Aha Poetry, that Dan mentioned, which is devoted to Japanese literary forms. So please go ahead and check those out when you have a moment. Next, we'll hear from Jonathan Bine. Jonathan, do you have another poem for us?
Yes, I do. I have a sad one. Salty tears fall down. My cheeks have become rivers, grieving my lost child. Salty tears fall down. My cheeks have become rivers, grieving my lost child.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. That was really powerful. Kathy Monroe.
Okay. This is one from this summer, which I think a lot of people experienced. Twilight all day, flashlight for afternoon walk, ash flakes falling. Twilight all day, flashlight for afternoon walk, ash flakes falling.
We know what season that is.
Thank you, Kathy. Paula, would you like to go again?
Yes, thank you. Critical time now, liquid in the chrysalis. Who will we become? Critical time now, liquid in the chrysalis. Who will we become?
I really like that because it starts with like an external observation, and then you go real deep inside. It's a really nice way of twisting it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. That was fantastic. Michael Rydell.
Cherry blossoms. News of their early blooming falls heavy. And I wrote this earlier this month. Climate change in Japan, basically. Cherry blossoms. News of their early blooming falls heavy.
That's very elegant.
It's just incredible. I have to mention when you have outside constraints, it can really generate so much more of the substance behind the word. And I love that haiku brings that out, the concision with language and syntax.
Yeah.
Michael Dylan Welch, would you like to read another poem?
In the chat, waning pandemic, the sundial in moonlight. Waning pandemic, the sundial in moonlight.
Great imagery.
Beautiful. Thank you, Michael. Lisa Medley.
Leaves falling gently. Darkness comes early now. Autumn's golden light. Leaves falling gently. Darkness comes early now. Autumn's golden light. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Lisa. Christine, do you have another poem for us?
Okay, it's in the chat. I was a little worried about this one at first. I realized all my other ones were visual imagery and I wasn't sure how to capture taste. So this is my attempt. Early morning taste of borage nectar, my first. Wow, I get it, bees. Early morning taste of borage nectar, my first. Wow, I get it, bees.
Thank you, Christine.
I love
Julia.
that moment of excitement. Yeah, excuse me.
I don't have another.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing your other two. We will move on to David. David, do you have another poem for us?
I do. As I said, I was been going through the past Haiku Festival booklets. And I want to share this one from 2010. They lived so briefly, all the flowers brought to bury 2 teens. They lived so briefly, all the flowers brought to bury 2 teens. And that poem is by Michael Rydell from 10 years ago.
Yeah, the double meaning packs a powerful punch.
Yes.
It's heartbreaking. Thank you for sharing. Let's see, I think we have one reader remaining, and that is Yvonne, if she has a third poem.
Yes. This is kind of a taste poem too. For dessert, tiny sour cherries, saved from birds, picked and pitted, baked into a sweet pie. For dessert, tiny sour cherries, saved from birds, picked and pitted, baked into a sweet pie.
Goes with the coffee.
Yeah, it goes with the coffee.
This is David. I would like to interject one other thing. Jonathan, who I haven't met, I'm interested in talking with you about the poem piece you mentioned. So I'm going to put my number in the chat there later if you'd like to talk about it.
Haiku forges connections.
Melissa, even though I didn't get a chance to read some winners, I think maybe I'd like to read one of the Jane Reichhold International Prize winners, just to, again, more homage to Jane and her work. This is from Simon Hanson from Queensland, Australia. Hallway mirror, a vase of flowers made of light. Hallway mirror, a vase of flowers made of light. Lovely. Lovely.
It matches with your science haiku from the beginning. Now we're getting to physics haiku.
So are we complete? What do you all think? Yeah, Dan,
I would like to do my one that I didn't do in the third round, just in honor of this year's festival. Haiku Festival, better, fresher version. Petrichor. Haiku Festival, better, fresher version. Petrichor. I knew Armand needed a petrichor haiku.
That's great.
Yeah, we were agreeing that it's auspicious that this happened on the first rainy day in a while. And how good it feels. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would just say that one year we got a lot of petrichor submissions. So we were going to have a separate petrichor category. So, well done, Dan.
And the funny thing,
I have to ask, I don't know what a petrichor is.
Dan?
It's the new rain smell. The name of the new rain smell is petrichor. It's been a word since 1964.
And can I tell you that I literally have the word petrichor written as like a memory for another poem that I wanted to write, and now you're all talking about petrichor.
Perfect.
Wow.
Next
I
year.
guess it's now I have to.
We need more petrichor poems, please.
Okay, it's a challenge.
Here.
And more poems about hydrogen.
I'm on it.
You know, if I could, I'd like to read one of the winners also from the Jane Reichhold International Prize. One year, 2013, our own Armand Brint won first place. This is the second place one that he knocked out of first. His was excellent. Here was the second place one. No more words, only clouds of frozen breath between us. No more words, only clouds of frozen breath between us. And that was by Julie Warther of Dover, Ohio.
Well, now we have to hear Armand's, the winning one. Come on, Armand. He's forced you into a corner. Unmute.
I don't have it in front of me. So Michael, do you have it?
Funny you would say that. All right, here you go. Armand Brint from Ukiah, California, nabbing first place. Sunless day, a child's yellow comb on the sidewalk. Sunless day, a child's yellow comb on the sidewalk. That's nice.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, everyone. It's been a very satisfying ending to my laureateship, and reminds me how good it feels just to share poetry with people, and how essential it feels whenever I do it, and especially learning more about the history of haiku, and again, how much it was about people gathering to learn about it and to do it. So yay, we're continuing, the tradition bequeathed to us from Asia. So anything else you want to say, Melissa? Or it's 4:21, so.
I would just like to say thank you to everyone who's here. Thank you for participating in this joyous celebration of haiku. Thank you all for being here and for sharing poetry together. And like Roberta said, I just want to echo a little bit by saying that sometimes it seems like poetry is one of those ancillary or extra things that you make time for, and then when it happens or when you allow it to happen, you realize just how necessary it is. So thank you all for joining in that and for honoring the history of haiku.
Thank you for organizing. It's a lot of work, I know, and it's so worth it. Wonderful stuff.
And thank you for bringing it back, because I remembered hearing like, there's a haiku fest. This is going to be great. Oh, there's not one this year? Oh. So it's really nice to have it come back so that I can participate in it for the first time. And thank you for the haiku walk and taking a few of us out on the sidewalks that day.
I don't know for sure how we'll end up with it, but if you read a haiku that was not in the chat, if you could send it to Roberta and she'll forward it to me. Thank you.
Oh yeah, and then the rest, I guess you will, I can send the chat to you. I think I can do that. I know it's always recorded.
Yes, you
I
should
saved the chat, but not everything
Okay.
is in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also would like to mention, since you brought it up, Christine, that I will be bringing back the haiku walk. I'm hoping to actually have one at the end of May. So stay tuned for that. I will email everyone that I have your emails for, or if you're curious about it, you can email me too at my library address, which I will drop in the chat. Masked, distanced, outdoor walk, celebrating haiku. I don't have a date yet. Date TBA, but
it sounded like a haiku the way you said it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, while we're making announcements, maybe I'll mention that there's this Spring Poetry Fest, which usually happens on the coast and is this, major marathon event when it happens on the coast with something like 50 people going out there to read. So this is the second year that they've made it virtual too. And that means that you can send a recording of your poetry, including your haiku, to, what is it, Dan Roberts? I think you send it to outfarpress.org, isn't that right? So let me put that in the chat. I'm doing it from memory, but I'm pretty sure.
I think it's .com.
Outfarpress.com. Okay.
That's Dan's website.
All right, so maybe I'll check it now, or somebody can if they're ahead of me, so that I can get you the right information. I didn't think of it until just now, but it's certainly worthwhile. Yeah, you're right, Dan Barth, it is outfarpress.com. So I'm copying the link here. It's for the Spring Poetry Fest. So I hope that's clear.
Yeah, and if you look at the website, I believe Dan's email address is on there. And you can email the recording as an attachment, an MP3 file or something like that.
Yeah, that's the recording, but you can also do a recording of your poetry, on your phone or a device, and then send it. I think it should be his email. You're right.
I have the email up right now. So
yeah, that's a better
drop
idea.
the info in the chat. There it is.
So while we have Michael Dillon Welch here, Michael, can we ask you for any comments you'd like to share on the national scene, the international scene, or anything else?
Well, sure, yes. Well, first of all, I think it's been wonderful to share. I'm reminded, many of you have read the Haiku Handbook by William J. Higginson. He says in the very first paragraph, he says the purpose of haiku is to share them. And I think that ties into the fact that in Japan, the tradition of haiku is communal. It's a group activity. And like writing renga is a linked poetry, one person responds to the next person and so on, and it goes on like a chain. And haiku grew out of the starting verse, the hoku of a renga. And so it has this root of social sharing. It's very much a social activity. And so it's great for everyone to express themselves as they have today. And I'd also like to invite people, if you're not already connected with other organizations, the Haiku Poets in Northern California normally meets in the city quarterly, but in the last year or so, it's been monthly via Zoom, and you're welcome to participate in that. The UkiaHaiku Haiku Society in San Jose also meets monthly, also by Zoom at the moment. They are a bit more traditional than the other group. I'm involved. I live near Seattle, and I'm involved with the Haiku Northwest group, and we're meeting by Zoom monthly, or occasionally on Thursday evenings, but occasionally it's on Saturdays. So you're very welcome to participate in that. And we have an annual CBEC Haiku Getaway, which was on Zoom last year. Not sure about that, but we'll figure that out soon, but that's in October. And I also invite everyone to consider joining the Haiku Society of America. They will also be having a Zoom conference on the weekend of June 12 and 13. So 2 full days of free haiku workshops and readings and performances if you're interested. And I've just pasted the links for that in the chat. So yeah, it's great that the Ukiah Haiku Festival is part of this larger community. And since I've been judged the last few years of the international division, numerous people have asked me, last year especially, if it was happening. And they were disappointed that it didn't happen last year. I hope it returns to its former glory as it has been in person in previous years. So I know that takes a lot of volunteer time, and that's a lot of work. But it's good that we can at least have this Zoom meeting this year. Great to be here, and thank you for sharing all of your poems.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Michael, for being here.
Okay, I'm going to stop recording.